On Saturday, March 7th, 2026, Amy Luciani posted an approximately 5-minute emotional video to Instagram that blew the entire situation wide open, racking up 5.8 million views in under 24 hours. She appeared on camera in tears, holding up a large Ziploc bag filled with white powder and a vial, declaring, quote, "This is what I'm losing my marriage to, this right here." She poured the substance out on camera and displayed additional powder from what appeared to be a lipstick case, accusing Dwight Howard of a serious cocaine addiction. The drug allegation alone would have been enough to dominate headlines, but Luciani kept going. She alleged that Child Protective Services had been called to their Swanee, Georgia mansion 3 times in under 2 months, and that during the most recent visit, CPS left with Howard's daughter Lila, who was born in 2010 to a woman named Tiffany Render. Her Instagram caption spelled it out plainly, quote, "My husband put himself in a position that resulted in CPS being called to our house 3 times in less than 2 months, but 3 days ago they were called again and they left with our daughter." And this is where it gets worse. The most disturbing allegation involved Howard's 12-year-old son, David, born in 2013 to the late Melissa Rios, who passed away in 2020 from an epileptic seizure. Luciani claimed Howard coached the boy to fabricate a story blaming her for the drug use when CPS and police arrived at the house, and she posted an audio recording of herself confronting David, who she claimed confirmed his father's instructions. Her words were, quote, "My stepson is only 12 years old. When CPS and police came to take our daughter, my husband needed an alibi to cover a lie. I told him I want no parts." Luciani framed the decision to go public as something she never wanted to do. She put it this way, quote, "I cringe when I see couples take their issues to the internet, but I was humbled with understanding because now look what I have to do to protect myself." Even through all of it, she maintained love for Howard, saying, "This is not him, this is not Dwight, this is trauma, this is everything he's been through, but now the kids." So the video explodes across the internet on Saturday, 5.8 million views, and Dwight Howard's response the very next day was to sit courtside at the Lakers vs. Knicks game at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, standing to acknowledge cheers, smiling broadly, and raising his fist to the crowd. The moment became its own separate viral sensation. One commenter on X captured the absurdity perfectly, writing, "Dwight Howard at the Lakers and Knicks game," acting like nothing happened, like we didn't just see his wife go live and say he has a cocaine problem. No public statement came from Howard or his team. TMZ reported reaching out to his camp and receiving nothing back, complete silence. That silence broke in the form of legal paperwork. On Monday, March 9th, 2026, 2 days after the video, Howard filed for divorce in Gwinnett County Superior Court. And here's the detail that tells you everything about the state of this relationship. TMZ reported that Luciani's attorney was at the very same courthouse at the very same time filing her own petition, but Howard's paperwork got processed first, meaning he beat her to the punch. His filing described the marriage as irretrievably broken with no hope of reconciliation, stated they share no children together, and demanded exclusive use of his Georgia mansion along with the return of what he called his separate and non-marital property. Howard offered Luciani 0 alimony and 0 asset division. A mutual restraining order accompanied the petition, barring both parties from harming each other or the children, selling property, canceling insurance, or disconnecting utilities. The only on-record legal response from Howard's side remains the statement attorney Fear made during the 2025 proceedings. Quote, "Since the beginning of the parties' relationship, she has manufactured truths and manipulated reality." Now, you might expect the loudest public reaction to come from strangers on the internet, but the sharpest commentary came from people who actually know Dwight Howard, starting with his ex. Royce Reed, a former Basketball Wives cast member and the mother of Howard's 17-year-old son, Braylon, had spent years accusing Howard of abusive and negligent parenting, claims that were widely dismissed or silenced under a court gag order. When Luciani's video dropped, Reed posted a series of Instagram videos that mixed years of pent-up frustration with outright vindication. She declared, quote, "Are you serious right now? You called me crazy, right? You said I was jealous. You said I wanted him when it's always been about the damn kids." Reed offered zero sympathy for Luciani specifically, arguing the rapper had been complicit the entire time. Her exact words were, "These kids never should have been in his custody, and she knew that. She allowed it, she condoned it, she participated in it." Reed's position was that if Luciani truly cared about the children, she should have spoken up far earlier, quote, "instead of leaving them for weeks to fend for themselves while you went on trips overseas." The most striking response came from Howard's own son. Braylon Howard, just 17 years old, posted a video on social media saying, "But my mama crazy, my side of the family crazy, I'm crazy. But hey, I told y'all, man, my mama did too, especially." His caption read, "I really hope you getting the assist you want, Dad, but this other stuff you doing, gotta stop." When a man's teenage son posts something like that for the world to see, no press release can undo it. The financial dimension of this divorce makes everything exponentially more complicated. Across 18 NBA seasons, Dwight Howard earned approximately $247 million in salary alone, with an estimated $100 million more from endorsements, including a long-running Adidas deal that stretched from 2007 to 2018. His current net worth sits somewhere between $120 and $140 million, depending on the source. Their primary residence tells you all you need to know about the lifestyle at stake: a 32,000 square foot European-style villa on 14 acres in Sewanee Manor, Gwinnett County, purchased by Howard in 2016 for $8.8 million and listed at $11.3 million in 2025. The property features 10 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms, a private cinema, a saltwater pool, and a half basketball court. Howard also sold a Gothic villa in Palm City, Florida, one he originally purchased in 2008 for $7.8 million, at a loss for just $4.9 million in 2025. And here's the fact that keeps Howard's lawyers up at night: there is no prenuptial agreement. Georgia operates as an equitable distribution state, meaning marital property gets divided fairly but not necessarily down the middle. Luciani publicly stated that she actually proposed signing a prenup before the wedding, but Howard turned it down. She wrote on Instagram in July 2025, quote, "I told him I want to sign a prenup because I believe what you worked for is yours. He declined." Some media outlets speculated she could pursue as much as $70 million in a 50-50 split, though Luciani denied ever asking Howard for a single dollar. The absence of a prenup still places Howard in what legal analysts called a precarious financial position, regardless of what she claims to want. Understanding the full picture requires looking at the pattern that existed long before Amy Luciani entered Dwight Howard's life. This marriage to Luciani was actually his second failed one. Around 2020, Howard secretly married WNBA player Taya Cooper, and they separated in 2021, with Cooper publicly claiming on social media she was, quote, "never married or engaged to Howard." 5 children with 5 different women round out his personal history. Braylon arrived in 2007, his mother being Royce Reed. Lila came in 2010, born to Tiffany Rinder. That same year, Jade was born to Hope Alexa. Then in 2013, both Dwight III, known as Trey, born to Christine Vest, and David, born to Melissa Rios, came along. Multiple mothers have publicly accused Howard of neglect over the years. Back in 2014, an investigation into child abuse opened after his son Braylon showed up at school with visible belt marks. Howard admitted to the discipline, but told investigators he didn't know it was wrong because he'd been raised the same way. No criminal charges followed. Other controversies have trailed him as well. A man named Stephen Harper filed a civil lawsuit in 2023 alleging sexual assault from a 2021 encounter at Howard's Georgia home, and Howard maintained the encounter was consensual. That case was dismissed with prejudice in August 2024. When reporters pressed him about his sexuality afterward, Howard responded, "That ain't nobody's business where I put my stuff." On the court, none of that noise could touch him. 8 All-Star selections, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, an NBA championship with the Lakers in 2020, induction into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 2025. Orlando drafted him first overall in 2004, and he played for 7 franchises across 18 seasons before moving overseas to Taiwan and Puerto Rico, joining the Big 3 League and appearing on Dancing with the Stars and The Masked Singer. But here is the detail that paints the darkest picture of the household's final days. TMZ exclusively reported that Gwinnett County Police were dispatched to Howard's Sewanee mansion 3 separate times in the 14 days leading up to the divorce filing. Those 3 calls covered a suicide threat, a domestic incident, and a theft report. 3 visits from police in 2 weeks, and none of that information came from Luciani's Instagram. That came from dispatch records. Despite the divorce filing, TMZ also reported the couple was still living under the same roof as of March 9th, with Howard having been in California over the weekend with his son David, while Luciani stayed behind in Atlanta. Public opinion has fractured along several lines. Luciani's supporters view her as a woman who tried to save her marriage and protect children, only resorting to a public disclosure when every private option had failed. Skeptics question the timing and the choice to broadcast allegations on social media instead of pursuing them through legal channels. Royce Reed's camp views both Howard and Luciani with suspicion, arguing the rapper ignored years of warnings and only raised the alarm when she personally became affected. Howard's total silence has been read as either disciplined legal strategy or something far more troubling. None of Luciani's March 2026 allegations have been independently verified, and Howard has offered no public response beyond his divorce filing. The legal proceedings are in their earliest stages, and with no prenuptial agreement between them, the financial battle ahead promises to be long and deeply contentious. But the biggest unanswered questions aren't about money, they're about the children. Whether CPS has truly removed Lila from the home, what Howard's actual substance use situation looks like, whether the pattern of alarming behavior alleged by multiple women across nearly 2 decades will finally face formal judicial scrutiny. TMZ's sources put it simply, quote, "This time it's different. The split is definitive." Given the involvement of child welfare authorities and how wildly public these allegations have become, the coming months will almost certainly bring more revelations than either party bargained for. This story is nowhere close to finished. If this breakdown gave you something to think about, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below with your take on this situation, and we'll keep following it as everything unfolds.